What up, y'all? I'm back with another video. Today I wanted to talk about the 5 different reasons why you would be discarded by the narcissist. A lot of times, after the golden period, you hit the devalue stage, and as soon as you hit the devalue phase or stage of this cycle, that the narcissist is already prepping or starting to look around, so when you get into the lower and the middle, lesser narcissist, the mid-level narcissist, the mid-range narcissist, the lower mid-range, they're not going to know really what they're doing because they may not even know they're a narcissist. But when you get up into the upper echelon of the upper, middle range narcissist to the high range to the ultra, they know what they're doing. So, like I said, they run instinctively, generally speaking. So, with that being said, generally speaking, it's going to be like some sort of an instinct. And when you get into the upper echelon of the middle range, they know it's still instinctive, but they also know why it's occurring. And so, like I said, when you get into the higher echelon of narcissism, they are very much more, they can be very much more devastating to an individual because they can plan tactics, and they can really put it on you, like in a way that the lesser and lower middle range narcissists cannot do. So with that being said, the first thing is you're out of fuel, or they've just destroyed you. They've taken everything from you. I know we've all experienced this where, it just gets to a point to where every day your mind is, you can't keep a machine, you can't keep a mind running like that all the time without a break. And the narcissist has a way of hijacking you and your emotions and getting you to second think everything, and getting you to walk on eggshells and have all of these different manipulations stacked on top of each other. Like I said, they stack all of their manipulations one on top of another, and they just keep stacking and stacking. There's so many different manipulations involved in a narcissist when you're with them for a period of time that they just continue to add another layer. And at some point in time, man, there's people that lose their mind over this. Because like I said, you're dealing with wickedness. You're dealing with, this looks psychological, but at the end of the day, it's not. It's a spiritual issue. And so you're dealing with what I would call satanic. So it's basically spiritual warfare, and you're dealing with the enemy in physical form. Honestly, whether they know it or not doesn't matter. You're still dealing with something. It's a spiritual issue, and either they let themselves let something occur in their life that has allowed something in, or these creatures were actually born right beside us from the same mothers and fathers, and they're not humanity. They're fallen from, so I don't know, or they did something as in humanity at such a young age that they became so inhumane that, like, in Romans, it would talk about them being seared, their hearts and their minds, to go about their business because they've basically blasphemed God and he let go of them. I don't know, one of those 3 different things. But yeah, so they can destroy you completely to where you have no energy. You can't even get out of bed. You have nothing to give. And they have to be flattered all the time. They have to be looked up to. They have to be told and validated and loved and taken care of, and gingerly, because they can't handle any kind of constructive criticism, and they're so lazy outside of work. They don't have any time to be doing anything around the house, or if you have children, with the children, typically they're just working on getting new source of supply, or controlling the old or the current sources of supply, and stalking them to make sure that they're on a higher level of them, and they're not, the old sources aren't happy, or the current sources aren't happier than them. Well, they don't understand happiness, but it's control. So you're broken. You could end up in a psych ward. You could end up dead in the hospital, or just have absolutely no fuel to give. So, you know, that would be one reason. Number two would be, all right, so you have realized, and this happened to me, you have realized that the narcissist that you are with or married to, that over time, that them provoking you is what, and then you get reactive, is what causes this whole thing. So you end up just getting neutral with them, like almost you gray rock them basically, without, unbeknownst to you, inherently, and you know, your either intuition or your senses or your for all intents and purposes, it becomes kind of like a survival mechanism, because this happened to me. I just, you know, you just start acting like a damn zombie. You come home, you don't say anything. You don't react. And when they get upset, you just kind of, whatever, you look at them funny, and then you don't say anything. It's hard. And there's a lot of stress involved there, because you could feel the negative energy coming off of them, and it's trying to get onto you. Because whenever they're trying to stimulate you, to provoke you to open up, remember, like a clam, you open up, you accept all of their energy, and then they'll take all of your good energy and walk out happy, like they just got forgiveness of sins. So when you don't, it's almost like when they're ready to throw that energy on you, it's already here. It's already in front of you. It's like, it's just, if you could see the spirit realm, it'd probably be like these devils and demons in the air, ready to just wait for you to open up so they could just, poof, and then poof, of your energy to them. But because you could feel it. But if you don't give in to the negative energy, and you don't open up, like I say, you got to stay close to your frame, then they won't get that energy. And at some point, they're going to realize that you're the prime source of supply, and they can't get energy off of you anymore. And you start minding your own business, living on the other side of the house, acting like you ain't even living together. So they'll have to find somebody else. They don't like that, though. And sometimes you have to do this because you have financial things with them, and you're trying to either get your ducks set up without them knowing. Sometimes when you find out there's a narcissist in your life, you know they're going to destroy you. They'll tell you this: if you leave me, I'll destroy you. I'll wreck you. You'll never be able to stand alone again. And so you'll have to, like, if you wake up to this, even not even that they're a narcissist, but they're provoking you to this, and you can't, and it's never going to end. You start realizing this after a decade. Then you realize that you don't know why it's happening, though. And you get to a point to where you're just starting to set your ducks up. You're not telling them, you know, you just quit. And then they can't say anything. What are they going to say? You want to fight with me by provoking me, so I'm not going to be provoked? I mean, they're not going to, you know, say that to you. They're just going to know you're acting different and you're not feeding into it. They're still going to slam things around. These are ways, then they'll have to toss it on somebody else outside, like at the supermarket, because that stuff will start happening, or at your friends, and then you won't want to go out anywhere. They're pieces of shit. Anyway, next is they have a new source of supply. So once you get into, after the golden period or the love bomb phase, at some point in the golden period, you're going to, like, say something wrong or do one thing wrong. You're not perfect. You're never going to be perfect. And that's what they're looking for. Look, if you think about it, they're looking for a perfect person, except they're horrible. There's nothing even close. They're not even close to generally getting things right, but that's what they're looking for. They're looking for this perfect person. And they still will need negative energy. So they have to create shit. But anyway, they, after you get into the devalue phase, they can't get rid of you because they don't have a new source of grade A supply. So they have to start finding one because they know eventually they're going to discard you. Again, this is instinctive to the lower and lesser and lower mid-range narcissists. But you know, as far as the, higher range, the greater narcissist, ultra narcissist, they know what they're doing. They know that when the instinct comes on, they know exactly what's going on. So that's why they can toy with you easier, better. And they may have, you know, they generally have more sources of supply. They do. That's why they call them ultra. I mean, because they have plenty of supply. The next one is, so you kind of woke to that they're a narcissist maybe, but you're not really changing or you're not changing your fuel status with them. You're still doing everything that you normally would regardless. You're still treating them the same. You're still, you're still validating them. You're still doing everything for them. You're still reacting to them, and you're not causing a threat out there. So it's like there's no reason to leave. But then what happens is you start kind of getting to where you want to like deal with it with them. You know, like, oh, this is you're not doing this. You know, like you need to act better here, and you start kind of wanting to help them on the daily basis. But what you're doing is you're causing control issues. You're causing them to you're questioning their control over you. And they can't have that. So then it's causing a narcissistic injury when you're accusing them. And so you're catching on and you understand. So now they got to go. But, you know, you can know about narcissism, but if you keep giving them fuel and you're not a threat to them because you're not telling anybody the dirty business that's going on behind closed doors, they're not going to leave you. I mean, again, they're always looking for new supply anyway, but, these kind of things will increase it. But yeah, you start injuring or questioning control, they're gone. The next one is going to be a revenge issue, which they always suggest never to do because you don't want to try to manipulate a manipulator or deal with a master manipulator that's got spiritual orchestration behind it. That's evil, but anyway, some will. And they, when they start talking to friends and family that you both know and start trying to air this stuff out, so that maybe even you can get them help. Because generally speaking, when the empath finds out that there's a narcissist that's in their life, when they could put a title to this, you do think it is a personality disorder. You do think, even if it's spiritual, you can get them delivered. But we find that you can't even get these people delivered. With that being said, then you're causing major issues and threats because now chances are that when you go to smear them, they've smeared you a long time ago. So because they got the jump on you, whatever you're going to say, people aren't going to believe you because they already smeared you. The truth will come out, though, because the truth comes out. It's part of the order of this universe, this Earth system. The problem is off the jump in the first, few months and weeks, days, weeks and months, people will probably generally speaking, believe the narcissist because they're covert. If they're covert narcissists, they're going to look like a dang angel. But the problem is if they don't have supply, and they have supply issues like grade A supply issues and stuff, that stuff's going to be jumping off of them. They have to get rid of it. And they are negative. They're evil. So if this stuff starts happening, then if they have no fuel, then people around them are going to, be like, yo, this dude's right. That girl, man, she's popping off, man. Look at her. He was right. She was wrong. He's a nice guy. She's bad. Look at this. That kind of stuff. So, but generally speaking, they have kind of a shiesty history anyway. People that know the both of you, generally speaking, know Mostly that, you know, you're probably a good person. It's not true when you compare you and them and decide who's right and who's wrong or who's good and who's not. Although they have a lot of flying monkeys. And so, you know, the Wicked Witch always has flying monkeys. So they're going to be out there promoting this like their news reporters. And so that's the thing with that. And like I say, the truth always comes out. The truth always comes out about their karma too. Their karma comes back to them. And you might find out 8-10 years later, but it'll leak to you. Oh, you heard about them? They ain't doing so well. I saw them at the corner. You know, they was getting pimped out. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it's like you'll find out stuff in the future because when you're not good, it comes back to you and it hits you with a vengeance, especially when you purposefully did it or you've been manipulating. So that's the thing. They may not know exactly what they're doing when they're doing these things, but they do know that they're destroying individuals and that they are causing huge manipulations in their life and damaging them. And they actually get off on it. It's called sadism. Sounds like Satanism, but it's sadism. It's like the pain that they give you, the hurt that they give you, the tears that you cry, they enjoy it because it's power and control. And we don't believe that way nor think that way. We don't understand that. And that's why a lot of times if you're unknown to narcissism, but you're actually know that you can be provoked and stuff to anger or provoked to giving them supply by opening up, you just don't understand, like, why would they do this? Why would you want to be with me, first of all? And then secondly, why would you, because I was with one for 11 years, I mean, 10 years, something like that. I was married to one, but I had 2 others. But why would you want to do this? Why would you want to create like havoc every day? And we're supposed to be a team. You just don't get it until you understand how a narcissist thinks. And they got to have control. They got to destroy you. They got to be on top of you like crabs in a bucket. They what you love, they hate. What they hate, that you love. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, you're talking about dealing with the devil. They're just like them. So anyway, if you're with one, get out and get out on your own covert way. You got to set your ducks up not to injure them, but to make sure that you get a fair deal in the financial issues. And if you have children, you can find the right place and the right thing to do. Some of them are brutal and some of them are abusive in the physical as well. Being a man, I never had to deal with that, but the spiritual and psychological, the emotional, horrible. So I love y'all. Please give me a like, a subscription, and you know, pass it along if you like the material. You know, I love y'all. You know, stand tall, soldier up. Peace out. Love y'all. Peace.